Chef Todd, is it good morning or good afternoon for you right
It
now?
is good afternoon. Good
Okay, well,
afternoon.
good afternoon. What city are you in right now? And then part
Uh,
two, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm in New York City. Uh, I just got back from Dubai, where I have a bunch of projects happening in the UAE, and checking in on my restaurant I just opened in the new Abu Dhabi airport. So very exciting stuff going on over there. So just
Yeah.
confirmed. I have the hotel in Vegas called the English Hotel, and we're uh, planning on four to start, maybe six in the UAE. So kind of four plus stars, plus star style boutique hotel, fun. So really excited about that.
I'm going to come back to that, but before I do, I
Sure.
understand you know a thing or two about holiday entertaining made easy. See, I put you up there.
Yes. Other than booking a reservation at one of my restaurants, yes. Other than, yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so in general, is there something that you find a lot of people do wrong when it comes to holiday entertaining that you've learned over the years and you could easily recommend?
Well, I think depending on how many people you have over, I know a lot of people get ambitious and invite 12 or 15 or 20 people over, or sometimes families are just that big. Um, I always recommend, the hardest thing about entertaining on even just if it's a small group, is the timing of everything, and I think that, is just understanding, when if you're going to do a turkey or goose or duck or whatever you're doing, when that's done. Um, I recommend, try to prep as much ahead of it as you can, and whether it's just heating up or, you know, uh, have it like even the night before, have it in the fridge. To me, it's almost like Thanksgiving. If you think about Thanksgiving, some of these holiday meals, the food is almost better the next day anyway, in my opinion. Like the stuffing and things like that. So I think I try to do as much ahead of time as I can, and just take the stress out of cooking in front of everybody, and then you can keep everything neater and everything's ready to go, and do some of the last minute things, maybe some of the vegetables, toss the salad, etc., like that. At that timing. So I think it's all timing, and just plan a menu that works that way.
Well, back to Vegas and the boutique hotel. I think
Sure.
about 3 years or so ago, a friend of mine who went from LA to Vegas, now
Mhm.
fully in Vegas, he went, "That's Todd English's hotel." And I noticed it wasn't on the old strip, it wasn't on the new strip. It's in that middle
Yeah.
part where the cool artistic stuff is. And these
Yeah.
days, it seems like all the stuff worth doing in Vegas is not on the quote unquote new strip. When did you start to notice Vegas was changing in that way?
I've been doing business out there for a long time. Steve Wynn brought me out in '98, or I'm sorry, I should take that back, 1996, and I started doing work with him at the Mirage, and then we opened the Bellagio, and it was just I was just very fortunate that I got to spend a lot of time there, understanding the market. And then built a home there, and subsequently, understood that like this is one of those areas that is getting re-looked at, because there's only, the thing about Vegas is there's only so much water and so much land, and so they have to kind of recycle some of the older areas, and I really like the area. It's where a lot of the locals live. For example, the Cirque du Soleil workers, all these, that crowd, a lot of them are in that area. And so you get a really good crowd that wants something that they don't have to go back on the strip for. So that's what I really liked about it. And now there's so much development happening there. It's crazy. It's just insane. So I think, and then we bring in the sports teams to Vegas, bringing just the F1 to Vegas, bringing all those things that are coming to Vegas. It's changed the town a lot. I mean, just having one sports team there now. Think about, having four, and then a professional soccer team, and then, the things that Vegas keeps bringing. And I mean, I had such a great time at F1. It was so much fun. I'm looking forward to this year as
Yeah,
well.
I've said to a lot of people that Vegas has become the best food city in the world because it basically had the money to buy up all the great people, and
Right.
then it attracted all the other people. So, in
Yes.
other words, Vegas started off as a sellout lounge kind of thing, and now it's actually kind of a cultural leader. Am
Mhm.
I wrong in stereotyping it that way?
Not at all. I think I as you know, still gaming is still a big part of Vegas, but it's not everything anymore. And in fact, I mean, I've heard numbers of like the Sands Casino in Singapore does as much or more gaming revenue than all of Vegas put together.
Oh,
So you look at like what Vegas has to offer, and it is. I mean, it's a city based built on entertainment, and that's the shows, that's the concerts, that's the theater, the sports teams. I mean, all the really fun stuff to do there. And I found myself having just forcing myself to go to a lot of these shows because you know, kind of like when I live in New York, I don't go to Broadway, and I realized, darn, when I go to Broadway, I wish I would. Why am I not going more to Broadway? And in Vegas is the same thing, and there's some great music acts, and with the sphere that landed there, which is like it really is. It feels like a spaceship landed in the middle of the desert. And so, to go see U2 there. I haven't seen the Eagles, but I'm excited to do that. But so I think you see all this, they're very smart about how they bring in revenue and bring in groups. And, there's no other city like it. I mean, there really isn't. You really can't find a city that's going to, cater to that. That's why I think F1 is so great there. It's like that city is built for something like that because you obviously have the hotel rooms, you have the amazing strip, you have
mhm.
the entertainment side of it. It's every part of it is built for that.
Well, you mentioned music, and that's one of my go-to topics beyond food
Yeah,
and travel. And I know that your first restaurant was in Cambridge and Boston. And I'm
yeah.
curious if coming up in the 80s, in my opinion, the most underrated music city in the world is Boston because of the Cars,
Hmm.
Pixies, Aerosmith, the Candy Butchers, etc. Were you
Hmm.
a person that was going to TT the Bears and the Middle East and that kind of scene?
100%. I moved to Boston. I actually opened in Charlestown, not Cambridge. My first chef job was in Cambridge, but we would go to those places, TT and the Bears, and Central Square in Cambridge, and go and listen to these great bands, and subsequently, the Aerosmith guys, and my kids went to school with them, so yeah, I'm a huge music fan too. So I love, when I had a coffee shop once, I used to bring in the students that were at Berkeley, and they would actually uh, um, play or practice in my coffee shop, which it didn't sound like practice because they're all really so good. Uh, so it was really fun, and to see this, in fact, my son did some schooling at Berkeley, and he's an amazing drummer. So I encourage music. I love music. So
And then back to you and your growing empire. I mean, you
mhm.
mentioned the Abu Dhabi stuff before. I know about the
Yeah,
restaurants that you have in Asia, New York,
yeah,
Las
mhm,
Vegas, etc. Is the
yeah.
sky the limit? In other words, are you still looking at growing even further?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the right amount of timing with it, with the groups and the right concepts. To me, it excites me to keep the momentum of it going and building the company. And I still get really excited about it, opening new concepts and being part of a whole the whole vision of that. And I think that's still what excites me. And to open up in the Middle East was so cool. Opening up in Japan, was an amazing opportunity. Or even in my restaurant in Bali now, which has been pretty cool adventure.
And is the plan to go wider also with the hotels? You mentioned
Yeah,
before at the beginning of the conversation, the Vegas boutique hotel. Sometimes people say a boutique hotel, that's a one off, it's boutique. And then other
yeah.
people have that widespread concept for a boutique
Mhm.
being able to evolve into a chain.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do it under the English Hotel Collection, but we'll probably have some different names attached to them. But I think I think, in what I understand, I mean, being a person that spends 220 days a year in a hotel, traveling, or 200 days, whatever it is, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
and going to many different hotels, I look at those hotels out that have a very unique experience. I love some hotels, but sometimes, when you go to the chains, they kind of, you don't know where you are. It's the same look everywhere. So I think people want that experience now, and that's what is changing.
Well,
Yeah.
two quick questions and then I let you
Sure.
go. The first
Oh,
one I
sure.
couldn't figure out through easy research. And you became a TV person, I believe, with Food Trip or some
Yeah.
PBS programming. What
Right.
was your realization of, oh, I'm not just going to be a person in the kitchen, I also can talk?
Yeah. It's uh, I always loved the food business because of the entertainment aspect of it, and so I think in any aspect of it, when I was a kid, I studied acting and I studied theater, and I was always wanted to be, that kind of in that sort of realm of things. So, yeah, I think it's something that is very relevant. I love sharing, but I think I was, when I started thinking about the show, and I was like traveling. It was just starting when I was just starting to come out and get invited all sorts of wild places. I mean, I cooked in Moscow back when
Wow.
they just turned over the curtain. It was wild. And anyway, it was for the American embassy. And anyway, but I mean, and I realized I'm traveling. I'm going to these places, Italy, Singapore, you name it. I'm eating this amazing food. I'm seeing this amazing culture of food, etc. And I realized, maybe I just want to have a camera on my shoulder so I can share this with people, because it's so freaking cool. And so that's what I did. So that was sort of the realization that I got, and I think that I think travel, expanding your mind, growing and changing, and seeing what's happening is very, very important to maintain, keeping things, fresh and current. And I've been doing this 40 something years.
Yeah.
Years. Started when I was 5, but I think so
Fair.
I know it's great. I still get excited about it. I really do.
And
So
last thing I want to know, and this could be a
sure.
simple no, or it could be a 5 minute rant. Was Shep Gordon, his evolution with bringing the celebrity chef into the mainstream, influential at all in your evolution in being a person in the kitchen that evolved into a restaurateur and on camera person?
No, no, not really. It was more. I'm more of like Julia Child, and I was, fortunate to be in Boston and be with her a lot and work with her. That was more my, and I love Gordon. Gordon is a great guy and he's great on TV, but it was a little after my time. A few years older than him, and so I would say,
Oh, no, no,
what?
Shep Gordon.
Oh,
The
Shep. I
yeah.
thought you were talking Chef Gordon. Sorry. Oh no, Shep. Yes, 100%. Yeah, Shep's awesome. Yeah, yes. He
I
definitely.
you
He
just
did.
to rudely interrupt you, I didn't realize how similar Shep Gordon and Chef Gordon sound. You just taught me something there.
Yeah, sorry. But and no, Shep, amazing guy, very, very influential, and yes, putting all these opportunities in front of us. Yeah, you know, he was a leader in that, for sure, and an amazing guy, amazing person. Love hanging out with him. Whenever I get a chance to go to Maui and hang out with him, and see what's up, it's always a good time for sure.
There you go. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for your time. Thank you for the great food and the
yeah,
great
my
drink.
pleasure.
And looking forward to what's to come, whether it's here in New
Yeah,
York or Vegas or
yeah,
whatever it is.
my pleasure, brother. Thank you. It's great talking to you.
Paltrocast.